Welcome to StaffBuffalo's Pain Points podcast, where we unravel the complexities of staffing, human resources, and other challenges faced by businesses today. Hi, welcome to the first episode of the Pain Points podcast. I'm Lauren Lewis, partner at StaffBuffalo and StaffBuffalo.
I'm Maggie Shank, partner at StaffBuffalo and StaffBuffalo.
We're really excited to welcome you to this podcast. We've talked about having a podcast for 5, 6, 7 years.
Many.
We've had our own pain points along the way of building out the podcast. We didn't know what we wanted to talk about. We didn't know what we wanted to do with it, how to do it, how to be consistent with it. And really, I don't think we had the time.
No.
To it.
And a lot of it is trying to find the time and actually structuring out the process. And part of the pain points is finding the solution, which we're doing here today.
And we're really thankful because we have an amazing team at StaffBuffalo and StaffBuffalo who are really supportive in helping us to launch this Pain Points podcast and help us be consistent with it, with topics, with being on the podcast. We have our marketing manager, Aubrey, who's been leading the initiative of doing the research around podcasts and the technology to get it set up and function and really go off without a hitch. We wanted to make sure that's important. But bear with us because there might be some pain points along the way as we navigate this new journey for StaffBuffalo and StaffBuffalo and Pain Point podcast.
And our intention with the Pain Point podcast is to give you different experts that are going to talk about things that may affect your business, to bring in other companies, other industries, to talk about what pain points they've had and how they've overcome those struggles.
So Maggie, let's chat a little bit more about StaffBuffalo and StaffBuffalo and how we got to the Pain Points podcast as really being our title and our topic and our theme for launching this podcast.
Yeah, well, growing a business and starting from square one, you get all the pain points. Having a startup, you have to figure out your team, your technologies, what business you actually want to create. So, Lauren, how did we start StaffBuffalo?
Where do we start? What do we want to talk about with it? So, background, I'm going to back up. Maggie and I are cousins.
Yes.
And we've each first cousins. So we grew up very closely and, spent a lot of time with each other growing up throughout our high school and college experiences. And then we launched into our previous professional lives. So my background is in pharmaceutical sales. And then Maggie.
Mine was in public accounting and in recruiting.
So we had this aha moment where we met at a Starbucks.
We ran into each other at a Starbucks. We did not meet. We had no plans. We were at 2 different business meetings, 2 completely different companies.
Yes, we ran into each other at Starbucks. And we just kind of had that aha moment. I can't remember who said it first, but one of us was like, I want to start my own business. And the other one was like, me too.
And having different sides of the brain, it really melded together well. So we knew that we had the sales side, the marketing side, and then we have more of the accounting and operations side. So we knew we could create businesses together, but which ones? And that was kind of the start and the genesis of StaffBuffalo. With my background in recruiting and with Lauren's background in sales, it was a natural fit.
We started StaffBuffalo out of Maggie's dining room in her house.
Back in 2015.
Yep, 2015. We spent a lot of time building out the brand, the logo, the colors, the name of the company, the website, social media. And, all that's super important launching it. And then Maggie's background in recruiting helped naturally build out the recruiting side of the business. So StaffBuffalo really started as a direct hire recruiting organization and focused a lot on accounting and finance jobs. But then as our clients' needs grew, we identified more of their pain points. Our expertise grew across a variety of industries, including human resources, sales, marketing, legal, office level admin, customer service jobs, really anything office level admin for the C-level jobs. Then, as our clients came to us with more pain points, they would come to us regularly as, hey, do you have employee handbooks? Do you do maternity leave policies?
Onboarding processes?
Do you do trainings? We don't have a background in HR, but we know enough about the importance of human resources when it comes to running a business and really optimizing your people side of the business. And a lot of that goes hand in hand with recruiting. So we built out the StaffBuffalo side of our business. So StaffBuffalo offers day-to-day human resources consulting for small and medium-sized businesses. And we can help with anything from their day-to-day work to high-level projects to legal compliance trainings training and
across
development.
the board. Any kind of people side of the business that you
Mhm.
need is really what we try to cover between the StaffBuffalo and the HR Buffalo brands.
Building on that, we are launching HR Connect, which is a comprehensive resource library, really, that is going to be beneficial for the clients to access human resources support when needed. So if they need updated policies or procedures or templates, they need some access to trainings or just personalized HR hours, they can be a member of our HR Connect and have access to those things as well. So we're really trying to help businesses in any way possible navigate their own internal pain points when it comes to recruiting, hiring, and human resources. Continuing on, I know it's a lot. I know we do a lot.
What pain points are next that we
Pain points
solved?
that are next are dealing with talent acquisition.
Mhm.
We've dealt with companies when we're trying to help with recruiting, and we've noticed some things that they could improve upon to really make the process that much better. And that is looking at their technologies, their branding, and what that looks like to job seekers, to their talent acquisition process. So posting jobs, writing job descriptions, vetting resumes, doing phone screens, that whole talent acquisition process, we work with companies to help really build that out and optimize it through our talent acquisition service as well.
Yeah, and we are actually the people doing it. We're not just telling you how to do it, we're actually going in and improving the businesses from the inside out. So if there are technologies certain businesses are working with and their pain point is we can't get them to talk to each other, or we have this wonderful payroll system that has this application tracking system add-on, but I don't even know where to start. We go in and we actually build out that process. It's long term. It actually is there if you want to take it over. But in addition, we then go through and we're actually the person that is talking to the candidates on behalf of each one of our talent acquisition clients. So it's really, really fun. We enjoy ourselves quite a bit. We can make a lot more placements, a lot more impact with companies that may have recurring roles or may want to get off the temp cycle where they want to have more permanent employees and create less of turnover.
And it's really about helping the businesses we work with improve. We want to see them hire the right people for their organization and make sure they're set up for success so that once we help them make all these improvements, we can transition out as needed or come back for extra support if they need it and make sure that everything's running smoothly on their end. We're going to help them mitigate some of the pinpoints that they are faced with on a day-to-day basis. And as we've learned, as we've grown our business over the past almost 9 years, you have to rely on other people to help you. And having experts around you to help you improve your business can be really key because you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you don't know what solutions are out there. So we're really hoping that through this Pain Points podcast, we can help open your eyes and your ears, if you're listening to this podcast, to different solutions that are out there in the world of business. And it's not just going to be us talking about recruiting, talent acquisition, human resources. We're going to dive into a lot of the different pain points that companies might face on a regular basis. And on the other side of that, we're going to talk with job seekers because we work with job seekers all the time too, and understand what pain points they're facing in the market right now as they're trying to find a new opportunity and navigate the space because it's constantly changing and evolving with technologies and trends. So we want to make sure we're helping you guys all stay in front of that so you're aware and educated about the market.
The candidate experience is very, very important. That is how you find, or how the candidates find you. So making sure that you
more important over the years too.
Absolutely. Well, how do they find you? They found you in a million different ways, whether it's social media, your website, job seeker sites, all of the different rating sites that you can do with
It's a
different
lot.
organizations. Yeah. So really understanding what that view looks like as if you were that perfect candidate that you want to turn into that star employee, you want them to want to work there, and really creating the full talent acquisition process to focus on that candidate experience is going to get you the right people more often, and they're going to stay long term because they're going to want to work there. They're going to have researched it. Candidates, they're always researching in a variety of ways. So you have to make sure that if they're researching, you have what you want them to see where they land.
Candidates are really taking into consideration a company's brand before they even apply to an organization. 7 out of 10 candidates, and that's according to LinkedIn, take that into consideration. Take that company's brand into consideration. So what does your brand look like when you're communicating it externally? They are looking at those things. So they look at your social media. Do you have social media? Are you using it? Are you using it to showcase the culture of your organization? Do you have a LinkedIn page? There's so many companies I look at that have LinkedIn pages, but they're not claimed. They don't have their logo on them. They don't have their employees linked to their LinkedIn page. That all gives a perception to candidates, and it can be good or bad depending on how your external brand communication is portrayed in that market. So sometimes it seems like it could be easy things to do, but it might not be. It might not be in your repertoire of what you are good at. You might just not know where or how to start. You might not have the time. We talked about time earlier. It took us, we don't have the time to do the podcast, but now thanks to our team, we're able to start launching this Pain Points podcast. That being said, maybe your marketing has slipped because you don't have someone internal to do it, or you just don't have the time to do it. But that could be affecting how you're attracting candidates for your open positions. So we want to work with companies to make sure that that is portrayed in the right way, so you are getting those great candidates that are a great fit for your company and your culture, like Maggie said earlier.
Well, a lot of companies, they're really focused on making sure that their brand is focused on their product or their service. Mm-hmm. But they're really not looking at what about all the other sites where it should be focused more on the potential employee.
Right.
So we're talking about job seeker sites. LinkedIn, the majority of people are either trying to sell something to you or they're researching your organization. So you want to make sure that it's facing the end user, or what do we say in sales?
The customer?
The hopeful customer, the prospect.
Prospect.
Make sure that is the proper language going out there to attract them in, to make them feel warm and fuzzy. You don't want to be talking about your widgets on the job seeker page when they want to know more about, well, is there a lunch space where we can have lunch?
Mm-hmm. What do you do to celebrate employees? I know a lot of companies are celebrating employee milestones. And those are great things that potential job seekers want to see. They want to see how long someone's been at a company. There's long tenure of employees. That's really attractive to a job seeker. They know that they have an opportunity there to get into that job, stay for a while, and hopefully advance their career. They like to see when a company is welcoming new people to their team, doing a welcome video or just doing a shout out on LinkedIn. Welcome to company X. This is a great way to show that you're excited to hire new people to your team, and that these potential new employees are going to have a warm welcome to the company as well. Those things go so far, and they've become more important in recent years. Not that they were never important, just much more important in recent years as the job seekers in the market, they've changed, and what they want out of a career has changed too, and what they want out of a company culture has changed. So we got to start thinking about those things and making sure that as business owners or leadership team members, C-level executives, who's ever in charge of portraying that brand outward towards job seekers, that you're making sure that all your X's and O's are in line, T's crossed, I's dotted.
X's and O's are hugs and kisses.
Don't do that. That might not be good for HR.
But cross your T's and dot your lowercase J's.
Thank you. So then I think you can understand a little bit about how we got to growing our business at StaffBuffalo, what we do with working with companies and hiring managers and job seekers. But let's talk about how we got to the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Maggie, over the years, I think we've talked a lot about different ideas. I think you and I
we're idea people.
We're idea people.
We like to brainstorm, as our team well knows.
Although I'm a probably bigger idea person because I'm like, I have this idea and I don't know how to execute it. So
I'm the implementer. She's the visionary. I'm the implementer.
Integrator.
And
implementer. But we have all these ideas, and then it's like, okay, how do we get it done? So I think one of the podcast topics we talked about at one point was the interview.
Yes.
Where we just interview people in the community,
which
is fun and great, but it didn't feel like it had a good consistent theme with it, and something we keep up with. I'm a shower idea person, so I think more recently, probably in the past 3 to 4 months, some of our team came to us and said, we want to do a podcast. And here's ideas of what we want to talk about on the podcast. And I was really trying to think about just our sales cycles here and our sales process in StaffBuffalo, and especially working with clients on our talent acquisition side of the business and marketing that out, and kind of understanding how do we get these companies to realize that they have a problem, that they have an issue when they're hiring, that there's a solution out there. So I'm like, oh, we got to talk about pain points more when we're talking about selling our services to these clients. So what are their pain points? And I was like, aha, this is a good title and theme for the podcast we want to launch, because we can talk about so many different pain points in an organization, not just hiring, not just human resources. We can talk about pain points in a manufacturing business, pain points
during growth,
pain points
during downsizing.
During downsizing.
Yeah. I mean,
Becky, that's another thing we do. We help companies with outplacement services.
We do a lot. But yeah, so we really understanding the different pain points of the businesses is what we want to continue to bring into the podcast. So as we're bringing in different organizations, we'd like to, prep them by saying, hey, what are some pain points that are going on in your organization and how did you get over them? Mm-hmm. If you do have any ideas, definitely put them in the chat and we will revisit that. We will go through and reach out to specific clients of ours that can answer your questions. We want to bring you experts. We want to see, hey, if you have any specific questions that are outside of the realm that we typically speak to, we will do those interviews of the pain points of those organizations. We will have those experts that'll help you navigate that or ask those questions that'll help you get to where you need to be. And if you ever need anything, obviously call us.
Yeah, but I think definitely the pain points in dealing with your employees, with building your business, like those are definitely the experts we can get your hands on. If it's pain points in payroll, pain points in benefits, we can work with all of that. So we really want to help provide solutions to our listeners about what pain points you might have in business.
And the whole genesis of StaffBuffalo and HRBuffalo has truly been to solve problems. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the more problems that we have, the more problems we can help solve. And that's truly what we're trying to do.
That being said, we're really excited to launch this podcast, and we really hope you're come along for the ride with us. I have a short attention span, so I know I can't listen to like podcasts that are too long. So
I'll be subscribing for the long ones.
But we hope we can kind of keep this as efficient and informative as possible for you, so you get the most out of it. And
we'll have plenty of our staff members as well joining in. Everyone has different perspectives, different experiences, and different topics that they want to discuss. We'll definitely bring them in to give you different perspectives.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to talking through pain points with you as we move forward through this podcast.